Me beating Dahang 3-0 was like really surprising even for me. I knew that I had the potential to do it, and I just felt that like with the champion picks that I had, I was pretty ready for that. Looking at the statistics that I had before, in stage 1 I lost 0-3. In the stage finals I lost 0-2. Last stage during the regular season didn't win a map, and then the last stage finals was extremely close. I actually could have like 2-0'd him. Me going into this series now, I was just like feeling like I just had enough. I just wanted my revenge.
There are so many different options that you can cycle through. Zenaku getting the perfect call out on the teleporter though, and he gets an aggressive push to boot. Not having a rail on hand though, that could have been a kill shot. Zenaku narrowly misses it, but that's the orb.
Pretty clean. He will look for that exit shot.
This is just going to be going through that minute and a half of the inevitable, which is going to be a victory. Big push from Zenaku. That's one for the highlight reel.
I mean, you got to be already kind of thinking about map number 2, but what a big start for Zenaku. Oh my god. 7-18. The last seconds tick away.
As soon as I won the first map, I already knew that I had obviously a good stead to win the series. But I think that, funnily enough, you know, when you want to beat somebody so bad, there's kind of like all these emotions that kind of come up, but you don't want to kind of choke there. Anything can happen. Tank can reverse sweep me even from this point, and I just made sure to like just keep focused on the game the whole time, and just works out. So I think I just made obviously really good choices there. Some highlight moments I had throughout the series was I just hit everything. On all 3 maps, I was just hitting rails like left, right, and center, and Dahang just wasn't hitting as much as me. And in this game, rails are just like gold, especially if you're even hitting, you know, 20% more than your opponent. It just gives so much space in the game. And of course, obviously the last map, where I made that comeback with only like 5 seconds left, that was pretty nice. And playing Anarchy against Death Knight on CK is just like not so easy, but the thing is it actually has pretty good stead if you can really make it work, so just really happy about that too.
There it is! Tied up 7-7 with 5 seconds left to go.
At last, a few nails for Zenaku. This is going to be his chance to 3-0, and he will!
So my expectations of this SIB matchup is that I was just really making sure this is a game that I wanted to win, because I think, you know, when it comes to relegation, as much as I'm doing better now and I don't really need to be thinking about that, it's still a box to tick off the list. So winning against SIB is actually like putting me in a pretty good stead, because it means that, you know, if it would ever come to this stage with relegation, I would always be above him. I feel like when I play SIB, the very first thing that I want to do is ban the clutch. I want to try to make sure the series is balanced in terms of champion matchups, whereas sometimes like if you pick these like high risk champions, like clutch can be extremely good, which he is good at. That I didn't want to give him that, because it was kind of like, you know, make the game a bit more random. Maybe he would win a map and then potentially win the series. Playing Doom vs Gleaner on AWOKEN is like pretty standard. I think I was kind of just ready for a SIB to do what he does, which is he likes to push a lot and likes to push in a very particular way, which I felt like Gleaner could be very suitable to counter against. Map 2, Scale vs Eisen. I actually wasn't really as prepared for this as I'd like to admit. Scale is extremely good on VALE, but if you play Eisen, you know, very good stopping with the turret, it's like super hard to deal with too. And I was finding that out during practice pretty quickly, so I'm glad that I could manage to win that map.
Zenaku's laying the pressure down on SIB, just doing so much, and even by the time SIB manages to restack, I don't think there's going to be any way that he can come back from this.
Of course, Strog vs Solag on MOLTEN, it's pretty even, and it's always just about like damage rotation, and I think that's just like something that I have a very good understanding of, and exactly like what to do there.
Yeah, looking so good. The only couple of things I may say about even when he tries to go for the refrag or goes for the trade frag, he does, like, even when he's on the offensive, like when he's got a huge lead, he doesn't really worry about the timings or anything like that. He does try and keep the map control no matter how far ahead, or in terms of how far in terms of he is in the lead. And this is just ridiculous now.
17-5, he puts a stamp on it on map number 3. Big shouts to Zenaku.
Going to that series, I think I knew I was very comfortable the entire time.
And our next series is going to be another interesting one, I think. It's going to be Zenaku going up against Seagate.
I felt pretty confident going to the matchup with Seagate. I felt that I kind of needed to play the champion matchups, the champion picks a little bit better, because I definitely gave him a lot of potential more than I should have. I definitely felt throughout the series that winning the first map was going to be very essential. mainly because map 2 and map 3 were a bit more random, they're a bit more momentum based, and so I knew that it was going to be kind of like a bit of 50-50 who's even winning those maps. So winning the first map was actually like very, very important in this series.
Down below, they both have the rails, so they both can work with it. Seagate nearly looks him off the map, but the orb is there, and he actually full rushes around in a circle.
First, create some distance as Mega will be the next objective. Head to head. Zenaku, I think he's pushing in, was maybe even looking at conceding it, but I just don't think Seagate was close enough!
He's got time for one more item, and then he just has to run straight at wherever he hears the sound. No bull rush up either until the very end of the map. He's caught him, he's bounced him, the orb's there, he's going through. The rocket jump comes out, but he connects, he's too fat. He tries to chase him around the corner, but Zenaku's too fast. He hasn't got the weaponry.
Even after all of it, you saw how the end of map 1 went, where it was basically one frag and he could actually still kill me there. When you have the lead like I did, and when I'm Ranger, you can do something like this where you can just run away. And I was kind of like playing for this moment, trying to keep him at bay, trying to keep him low, or at least keep the score different, high enough that he can't just like quickly spawn kill me or something like this. It really just worked out. Just the way that I ran towards the end there, it just worked out nicely. What happened on Corrupted Keep versus Seagate was I just took too many risks at the start of the game. I kept thinking, actually my emotions got the better of me. I knew as I was doing it, I'm like, I really don't think this is going to work, but I'm kind of already in the motions of doing it, so it was hard to really stop myself. But looking back there, I noticed that there were, you know, when I watched the VOD, there were plenty of moments where instead of taking this decision, I could do something else and I don't just like lose so many frags at the start of the game. And then I don't have to like really try to chase down so many kills in the middle of the game, which it's actually making it easier for him because I really have to push, and he knows, like, you know, when I'm being pressured like this, it's a bit easier for him to be defensive. Well played by him, he actually did play that map quite good. On the last map, I had an early lead. The whole time I was thinking to myself, I just want to keep contesting as many kills as possible. And there was one time he actually had a 2-frag lead around about like 6-7 minutes, but it didn't really matter too much, because I knew that like how much time I could get just before the next heavy spawned, and then it would kind of like just swing the momentum again. And just the way that Seagate likes to play, he just likes to attack a lot. He was going to try to ramp up the frags, and he was going to give me a chance to come back. And that's basically what happened there as well.
And that's free. Surely. Never mind. The rocket knocks him off course. It should have been.
It should have been, but it wasn't, and now Seagate, somewhat of a lifeline. He's trying to get a...
Dare I say one that benefits Zenaku, because being able to get himself back up to a regular stack, his armor is fantastic, and the heavy's even better. Lovely rail.
No ghost walk up. He might have one more use of it before the end of the game. Caught up the jump pad. Big rockets from both of them. Zenaku, though, comes out healthier, and he's in position for the Mega. Picks it up. It's bounced, but gets the frag. Well played by Zenaku. There was a period of the game there where he was just completely shut out of the map, and we saw the strengths of Seagate come through, but once again, he keeps his cool and finds a way to grind it out.
There was a high fragging game considering that map, but it was purely because I just wanted to keep contesting. I just wanted to make sure that we're always even stack as possible, and it's purely based on who makes the most consistent decisions by the end of the 10 minutes. It was still very close, but I did come out on top, so that was good. My game this Sunday will be against Chain. I don't think it'll be high fragging, but it will be still pretty close. I think it's just based on his playstyle, which kind of gives me a lot of chances in some way, because he doesn't like to really ramp up the frags, which is kind of like giving me opportunities to keep the game close and then kind of like do a big swing if I really get the opportunity for that. I'll just be ready for anything. I think that, you know, you never know what you're going to get sometimes with these games. Sometimes people just play completely different. But I'll just be as ready as I can with, you know, seeing what champions he likes to pick, and making sure we pick the right maps, and I'll be ready for that.